How is it going, everyone? I'm Martin and welcome back. So Bungie have just dropped an awesome new launch trailer for Forsaken, which means that things are starting to kick off now as we enter the final stretch, the final week before this expansion releases, and there's a lot of hype around this trailer. If you don't want to be spoiled by anything, well, now is probably the best time to go dark from the internet as the hype train enters full force. The trailer features some pretty cool things, most notably our Guardians now finally talk. We get a tease of what our Guardians will sound like. We also see Mara Sov, or at least a hint of her, confirming that she is indeed returning, and possibly the best part, Cade's pretty sick burn on Uldren. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, I'll play it for you guys now, and then afterwards we'll talk about it a bit more.
We should have been there.
Well, this is awkward. You got a gun I can borrow?
This is not your fault.
Any last words? How's your sister?
For our fire team. For Cade. This is on the head of Uldren Sov.
My friends, my barons, go unleash chaos.
The three of us want the same thing, Spider. Uldren and his barons. Dead.
I cannot wait to see how this ends. We are not an army. We are not conquerors. We need to keep our eyes on our home, our people.
This is Cade we're talking about. For us to do nothing is...
Say it.
cowardice.
I refuse to bury any more friends.
You won't have to. Uldren Sov is mine.
So, this is to be a reckoning.
I know where Uldren is. Baron's scheme.
You have no idea what he's done!
The line between light and dark is so very thin. Do you know which side you're on?
We will take the reef by storm. All of us, every Titan, every Warlock, every Hunter. If he thinks what he's done is the end, it's not. It's the beginning.
You gotta promise me. Put Uldren in the ground. Do we have a deal?
Destiny 2 Forsaken, available September 4th. Play the all-new hybrid game mode Gambit. Free 24-hour trial begins Saturday.
So, in typical Cade fashion, he couldn't just go out without saying anything and decided to make it personal, hitting Uldren right where he knew it would hurt, and he couldn't have picked some better final words. Now, obviously, he didn't just pick these words as some kind of throwaway insult, it's a hint at the bigger picture of this expansion here and what's to come, as Uldren's whole motive in this expansion is to find his sister, the Queen Mara Sov, after she supposedly died back in the Taken King. Now here we see Uldren now sitting in the throne, commanding these barons, so he now kind of has what he always wanted, and that's power. Here we see Petrovenge talking to the Spider, a fallen character that we're going to be allying with. There's our character in the back there as well. Meanwhile here, the Vanguard are mourning over Cade's death and deciding what to do next, and I really like the dialogue here, especially with Ikora, because Cade's death has brought about a change in the way she thinks. Normally she's the one to go meditate and think on things, but this time she's the one that just wants to go all in and assault the reef and avenge Cade. But then finally here, at long last, we hear our Guardian speak. It only took the death of Cade to get him talking again, but he sounds pretty badass, telling the Vanguard that Uldren is mine, before being shown to be setting off on this Fallen / Baron themed Sparrow. I'm really excited for our character to have a voice again. Some of you may have also noticed that the armour this Titan is wearing is a returning armour set from Destiny 1 and a very old armour set. It was actually the original Vanguard and Crucible armour. We did also get a glimpse at this armour in a previous trailer for the Dreaming City, and I've noticed there's actually a few armour sets returning from Destiny 1, including the original Prison of Elders gear. Then here we see the player wielding this new exotic hand cannon, the Malfeasance. This is essentially the spiritual successor to Thorn. And then again we get this shot of Uldren sat on the throne, but here we see the hand of none other than Mara Sov, his sister, the Queen of the Reef. So this pretty much confirms that she is going to be returning with this expansion, and I mean it was pretty much confirmed with some of the leaks that came out recently, but this is our first official hint at this, and I'm excited. Although there's something kind of weird about this shot. I feel like maybe she's not actually there, and maybe this is just sort of Uldren imagining things. If she was there, it seems kind of weird that she would let him sit on the throne, but whatever's going on, that is indeed the hand of Mara Sov. But then right after this, Uldren is actually shown to be burning the throne. Now obviously this is supposed to be symbolic of something. Maybe it means that Uldren doesn't really care about the power anymore, maybe he only cares about retrieving his sister, I don't know. Something is going on here. And to make things even more mysterious, Uldren is now shown to actually be visiting the Shard of the Traveller on Earth, which is where we used to get our new supers from, and he's actually shown to be wielding a Shard of the Traveller. So what he needs this shard for isn't really known since he's not a Guardian, but as he's holding this crystal he does say the line, "There's a thin line between the light and the dark." Now there's actually been a theory going around that Uldren has been corrupted by the Taken. If you look around the edge of his face you can see these sort of dark tendrils and spots creeping around the edge of his face. Although, to be honest, I don't really know if I buy into this whole Uldren has been corrupted by Taken or Darkness theory, just because the Awoken skin looks like that anyway. Like, for example, if you look at Zavala, if you look at his big bald head, you can see a similar effect on his skin, so I'm not actually sure if this is corruption. I think this just could be just the effects that the Awoken have on all of their skin. So I'm not sure if I believe that Uldren has been corrupted, although if you do look in his eyes, there is kind of this weird look about them. Moving on, in this next clip, if we slow things down, we can see this Titan activating the new Sunbreaker super, but if you look closely at his armour, I think he's wearing a new exotic chest piece. If you look at the chest, it's got these kind of cracks along it with light coming through, and on the back there's this sort of weird pattern. And lastly we end on a shot of the Spider telling us we have a deal. The Spider is a character we've already met in previous trailers. He's going to be helping us along with this expansion. He's going to be providing troops and support as we help to take down Uldren. So that is all for the trailer, but that's not all. We've also got some other things going on here, some pretty interesting stuff over on Bungie.net. They're doing this kind of ARG thing right now. It's very cryptic. There's these kind of messages going back and forth between Petra and the Reef and Cade, and it looks like it's kind of a build up to the expansion, like what happens just before, as things are just about to kick off. Bungie are releasing bits of this message piece by piece over the course of the day, so we don't have the full thing yet, we just have 2 messages on here right now. The first one seems to be about Cade asking Petra if she needs help, saying that Cade could come visit the Reef to do some patrols, so that Petra could focus on other things in the meantime, so this is just before Cade actually heads out there. And the second message here, the subject is bird watching. This is a response to the first message which came from Cade. This is Petra Venge talking to him, and there's actually a pretty interesting message here, so I'll just read it out. By the way, thought you'd be interested in this report from Paladin Iran. Free irregular Kelvin radiation underneath liminal atmosphere layers in Venusian entryway. Deep interstellar simulation traces reveal elongated side rail screens. Caldera apertures leave long free radical emissions. Mitigate if lateral lacerations yield neutrons. Message ends. Now, people have already been quick to actually figure out what this message means. If you take the letter of each word in that message, it reads as follows. Fikrul alive, distress call from Eileen. Now, Fikrul, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, is actually the name of one of the 8 barons. He's the fanatic, the one that essentially resurrects fallen. And so this message is supposed to be a warning that he is still alive. Now, this message comes from a character called Uldren. She's an awoken character, and she's actually one of the Queen's Tekens, those witches that we saw in the cutscene behind Mara Sov in the Taken King cutscene. She's the leader of this coven, and she's actually been mentioned quite a lot recently with some of the leaks, so I reckon she's going to be playing somewhat of a supporting role in all of this story with Forsaken. Now, these are the only 2 messages we've gotten so far from Bungie. Like I said, they're going to be releasing more parts to this message throughout the day, so we can slowly piece it together. But for now, that is all for this video. Now, by the time that you're watching this video, the new update for Destiny will be out with all the new sandbox changes and weapon slot changes, so I'm going to be doing a stream here on YouTube at some point, checking out all those changes and seeing what weapon combos I can do, and just having fun with the new sandbox. So do stay tuned to the channel for that. I'll be doing a lot more streams in general come Forsaken. So as always, I do hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.